Discover the stress-free way to renew your New Jersey vehicle registration online, saving you time, money, and a trip to the DMV. Honestly, keeping your registration up to date is an absolute must, right? Not just to stay street legal, but to make sure you're fully protected out on the road. For years, that dreaded annual renewal literally meant blocking out half your day, standing in endless lines and wrestling with paper forms. Well, thankfully, the modern administrative state is finally catching up. Today, we're looking at a completely digital process that lets you bypass those physical licensing centers altogether.
So let's dive right into this explainer and see how the MyMVC digital portal is totally transforming vehicle registration with their Skip the Trip initiative. It's kind of wild to think about, but historically, over 1.5 million folks in New Jersey would physically walk into an agency just for a routine renewal. That is hundreds of thousands of hours just wasted. By moving this process online, the state has optimized its resources and opened up a 24/7 window that actually works on your schedule, not theirs. Here's our quick roadmap for today. We're going to cover skipping the DMV trip, gathering your required documents, a step-by-step renewal guide, troubleshooting common roadblocks, next steps and legalities, and finally, resources and support. All right, part 1, skip the DMV trip. Let's start with who's actually eligible to use this 24-hour system because, it's strictly regulated by administrative law to prevent fraud. Basically, as long as your registration is currently active for a standard passenger vehicle, a non-commercial boat, or a motorcycle, and you're within that standard 3-month renewal window, you're golden. You can go right online. But if your registration is already expired or suspended, if you're driving a leased vehicle and don't have lesser authorization, or, and this is a big one to remember, if you've changed your address within the last 14 business days, the system is going to block you. Moving on to part 2, gather your required documents. Now, what's really interesting here is just how strictly the system verifies your identity to prevent fraud. You absolutely need to gather a few specific things before you even open your browser. You'll need 4 key pieces of info. First, grab your 9-digit PIN. You'll find that printed right on the bottom right corner of the physical renewal notice they mailed you. Second, you need the primary owner's social security number. The system actually cross-references this directly with federal databases in real time, which is pretty cool. Third, have your active New Jersey insurance ID card handy, because you'll need the full policy number and your carrier's 3-digit code. And finally, just make sure you've got a valid credit or debit card ready to go. A super common roadblock right out of the gate is simply losing that piece of mail. If your physical notice got lost or maybe accidentally tossed in the recycling, don't panic. The online PIN recovery portal lets you retrieve it instantly. You just punch in your social security number, your date of birth, and the zip code where the car is registered, and boom, you've got your PIN in seconds. All right, part 3, step-by-step renewal guide. Getting a handle on the actual workflow once you log into the MyMVC website is crucial. The interface is actually designed to be pretty frictionless, broken down into 3 simple steps. Step 1 is the authentication phase, where you just type in your license plate and that 9-digit PIN. Step 2 is administrative input. This is where you provide your social security number, an email for your receipt, confirm your mailing address, and punch in that insurance data. Oh, and a quick pro tip to avoid a massive headache here. If you recently moved, you cannot change your address inside this renewal application. No way. You have to use the state's separate change address portal first, wait the required time, and then come back. Finally, step 3 is processing the payment. Let's talk money and look at the standard financial breakdown. New Jersey doesn't use a value-based system for registrations, so a $60,000 luxury car and a $15,000 compact car pay the exact same fee if they weigh the same. It's all based on weight and age. So on top of your base registration, which is going to run you anywhere from $46.50 to $84, everyone pays a flat $5 MVC processing fee and a $25 county surcharge. When you do pay online, you've also got to factor in a 2.45% Tyler Technologies service fee on your credit card. This is kind of an interesting policy trade-off. Back in 2016, the state eliminated direct MVC convenience fees, so this percentage now goes straight to the third-party vendor. It strictly funds the state's electronic infrastructure to keep those servers running, rather than just disappearing into New Jersey's general budget. And heads up, as of 2026, if you drive a battery electric vehicle, you're going to see an additional $270 zero-emission vehicle surcharge tacked onto your bill. Because EV drivers aren't paying gas taxes at the pump, the state implemented this surcharge to offset the declining revenue needed for highway maintenance. Let's move to part 4, troubleshooting common roadblocks. So, what happens if the system just flat out blocks your renewal? You've got all your documents ready, you're typing everything in, and bam, error screen. Well, if you have outstanding municipal tickets, toll violations, or state surcharges, the system will completely halt your transaction. Unlike a standard renewal that processes instantly, a blocked registration means you are totally locked out of the online platform until you clear up that underlying legal or financial issue.
And resolving a municipal block takes a bit of legwork. You can't just pay the DMV and be done with it. First, you have to pay the local court directly. Then you literally have to mail physical proof of that payment to the NJMVC down in Trenton. Next, you have to pay a mandatory $100 restoration fee. And here is the kicker. You must wait to receive a physical notice of restoration from the chief administrator before you can legally drive again. You absolutely cannot skip any of these steps. You also need to make sure your emissions testing is totally up to date. New Jersey requires an emissions test every 2 years. Now, brand new cars do get a 4-year pass, and fully electric vehicles are completely exempt. But if you fail an inspection and don't manage to pass a reinspection within the 45-day statutory grace period, your registration privileges are suspended. And yep, that instantly blocks your ability to renew online.
Which brings us to part 5, next steps and legalities. Okay, so you've successfully paid. Woohoo! But a really common anxiety for drivers is, what happens while I wait for my new physical tags to arrive in the mail? I mean, shipping takes 7 to 14 business days, and driving around with an expired sticker on your plate feels super risky, right? Well, this is exactly where the Safe Harbor framework under New Jersey administrative law steps in to protect you. The state actually recognizes that gap between your digital payment and the physical mail delivery, so they coded a legal safety net right into the regulations. The literal second you click pay and the transaction clears, the state's central registry updates to active instantly. This is a massive deal because it protects you from those automated license plate readers used by law enforcement, even if the sticker on your car is technically expired. You'll get a printable digital receipt and an encrypted email. This acts as your official interim digital proof and is completely legally valid for 30 days from your expiration date, which gives the physical tags plenty of time to show up. Just remember one thing. You cannot use this interim digital receipt to transfer the title or ownership of the car. And finally, part 6, resources and support. To wrap things up, let's look at where you can go if you need a little extra help, maybe you want to check the status of some delayed mail, or if you run into some highly specific edge cases. The state offers a few official channels under their Driving NJ Forward mandate. Your absolute first stop should be the My MVC portal online. They've got a great virtual assistant and really detailed FAQs. But if you need a real human for a complicated block, you can always call their customer support line at 877-DMV-NJ4U. And hey, if you just flat out cannot use the digital system, maybe your account is blocked or you don't have the right documents for the online verification, you're not totally out of luck. You can still schedule an old-school in-person appointment. Just make absolutely sure you bring your 6 points of ID, your insurance card, and a completed Form BA-49 with you to the agency. I do want to leave you with a quick but very important professional disclaimer. The laws, the fees, and the procedures surrounding motor vehicles do shift as legislation evolves. Everything we cover today is based on the current framework. So always do yourself a favor and verify the current rules, fees, and any procedural changes directly on the official government website at njmbc.gov before you kick off your transaction. Armed with all this knowledge, you are fully prepared to effortlessly navigate New Jersey's online registration framework. Honestly, it's a fantastic leap forward in digital public administration, turning what used to be a multi-hour headache into a 10-minute digital breeze. Is that small service fee worth avoiding the DMV waiting room? Well, for millions of New Jersey drivers, the answer is a resounding yes. So, next time that renewal notice arrives in the mail, are you ready to skip the trip and let the digital portal do the heavy lifting? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and definitely drive safely out there.